So this is the process I use for recharging, for lack of a better word, my vermicompost bins down in my cellar. So a couple times a year, in the spring and in the fall, I go to the local landfill, or it's not a landfill, it's a recycling facility run by the town, and I go over there and I bring a wheelbarrow, a couple of these barrels, and I shovel and sift through the compost. So I end up with barrels of this. So I use this to recharge my vermicompost. And so I'm going to fill these buckets up over here, and I'm going to go downstairs. This compost I get from the dump has, pine cones and, various debris. That's why I sift it. And I fill up these barrels, and this stuff is gold, black gold. Perfect texture, loaded with nutrients. Okay, so I filled the tote up halfway, and now it's time to add the worms. So yesterday, these totes were full of worms and vermicompost. So I brought buckets of vermicompost outside, put it in a kiddie pool, and hand picked through all the and picked out all the worms, and put them in this bucket. So I did that for each one of these bins. So I ended up with 2 buckets of worms. I already filled this one yesterday. I'm just walking you through the process. So these worms are going in here now. So this is the bucket with the worms in it. Now all I'm going to do is spread this out. Now I can add some vegetation. Actually, I'm going to add one more bucket of dirt, and then the vegetation on top of that, and then another bucket of dirt on top of that. So I added another half a bucket of compost on top of this, top of the worms, and now I'm going to put the corn stalks that I shucked 2 dozen corn yesterday and froze them. This is the time of year in New Hampshire for nice buttercorn, or I forget what they call it, but it's delicious. So I take advantage of that and freeze it, and so the husk can go in here and the worms will eat it. Okay, so corn husks, discarded cabbage leaves, that'll work. So I'm going to add the rest of this bucket, and then we'll call it a wrap. And there you go. Now we have a recharged vermicompost, and I'll keep feeding them throughout the winter with vegetation table scraps, and coffee grounds is another good one. You want to stay away from anything that has citrus in it, like oranges, and pineapple is not good for them either, for whatever reason. But anyways, thanks for joining me. Last step, put the cover back on, and you notice the holes in the cover, so these worms need to be able to have some oxygen. So I got holes drilled, and you can find it online how to build one of these. Pretty easy. Anyways, we're lucky here in New Hampshire that we have cellars. So in the winter time, it gets down to 55 degrees down here, and just by virtue of being 8 feet below the surface, and around here is 4-foot frost line, so it never freezes down here. So the worms are perfectly comfortable all winter long. So I got to come down here and feed them, like once a week. So I'll just take some scraps and just keep adding them to the tote. The vermicompost ends up in my raised beds. So I do this in the spring and I do it in the fall. And I rake, top dress it and then rake everything in. Makes for some very fertile soil. So as a side note, I wanted to let you know that with those two vermicompost bins that I have, I'm able to maintain four 4x8 raised beds like this, and to supplement the nutrients in the spring and in the fall. So I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe this winter, starting a couple more down my cellar. But anyways, that's another project down the road. So thank you for joining me, and everybody take care out there. God bless, and I'm gonna finish raking this and we'll put them to bed for winter. Bye all.